Hello, everyone. This is Grace. It is September the 21st, 2021. And today we're going to be discussing the moon and how the moon is not a ball, it is actually a disc. Now, I didn't pull up any scriptures for this. There are a few comparisons that you can do, but we don't need scriptures for this because you can observe it. You can observe it through nature. See, because this is not what a ball looks like. They tell you that the moon is a ball and that the planets and all of those things, that they're all balls, but this is not how a ball looks. Um, this is a disc. This is a disc, and this is why it reflects red when the sun is behind it. Is because it's not thick and dense as they would have you to believe. No. Balls, when you have a ball, there is a shadow that is cast upon the edge, just by definition. So we're going to be taking a look at different pictures of the moon, and as well as different pictures of some balls and spheres, and we're just going to let you compare them, because they don't try to hide that this isn't a ball. They don't put any shadows on the moon at all, ever. They just tell you it's a ball. That's all. But there's no pictures of the moon with shadows that I've noticed. I haven't noticed any, but you can see for yourself. Let's go ahead and get started. So here's another picture of the moon as a ball, and you see all of the, as a sphere really, but it's supposed to be a ball. You see all of the indentations here, and all of the damage and all of the shadows from that damage. But then when you get over to the edge, there's no shadow. No shadow at all. They don't try to hide that it's not a ball. They just brainwash you and tell you that it is. Another way that you can tell, again, no shadows at all. It's just a sphere. It's just a disc. That's what the moon is. That's what the sun is. By the way, there are a couple of corrections that I have to make as far as the previous video on the moon. I told you that I do believe that the sun is fire, but the more I contemplate that verse in Joel, I'm going to have to take time to investigate that. I don't know that that's right. And I think that that verse requires a little bit more time and investigation than I gave it. Another thing is that, and this pertains to this study, in one of the studies I told you that on the new moon, there's an eclipse every time there's a new moon, but the moon is behind the sun. No, it's the full moon. The moon eclipses the sun every time there's a full moon. You can literally go out and see the moon when it's close to the sun like that during the time of the full moon. Go out like a couple of hours before sundown, and like 1 or 2 days before a full moon, and you can see the moon there, and there will be no shadow on it. It will be super bright. One other thing that I wanted to let you know was that because the moon is nitrogen, if you try to take a picture of it, there's going to be some problems. Now, I don't know anything about photography or anything, but I've watched enough videos, and just by doing this in the Bible series, and I've heard from at least one photographer that when you're photographing something with nitrogen in it, it's very difficult. So you might have to get some tips on that, because I don't know, it's something about the nitrogen is just not, it doesn't photograph easily. And that's here in regular everyday life. And like I said, this is just something that I've heard. So if you're trying to photograph the moon, you're going to meet up with problems and it may be because it's nitrogen. We don't know exactly that it is. That's just a theory. Okay, so then let's continue on. Those are just a couple of corrections. I think that was it. If I think of something else, I'll let you know. So, again, no shadows, just one solid object. It's just a sphere. I know I have pictures of balls in here of 3D. Where are they? Here's one. Okay, so let's look at this. Do you see how there's light? You can look at this. You can see the dark color all around it. You see the point where the light hits it, right? And what happens? It's super light there, white even. And then it gets lighter and lighter, and then as the ball goes around, it gets dark. It's darker here, then it's lighter here, and it's lighter here. Again, it's the lightest here where the light hits it. And then there's a little bit of a reflection over here. But for the most part, it's the lightest here, and then it's the darkest here, and it starts to get lighter and lighter as it moves closer to the object that is reflecting the light. There's a clear distinction here going all around. There's a clear distinction. Again, the lightest part is here where the light touches it. It's lighter here. I mean, I keep saying lighter, but it's darker here. Of course, it's the darkest, the furthest away, but there's a clear distinction. And this isn't even a really good example. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it is. I guess it depends, but I would think that it would be even darker on the edges going around, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll work with what we have. This is a good one here. So you have a light, you even have a little bit of a reflection on this because it's a shiny ball. And then the same thing on the ground. There's a little bit of a reflection here coming from the ground. But you can see the shadows. You can see that this is a round object. It's very clear that this is supposed to be a round 3D object. Dark all around except for where it's reflecting off of the ground. And then there's the clear distinction of the light, which is a circle, and the dark, which is a circle. And then there's a circle around. And this has the darkness all around, which is what I would have expected. I would have expected it from this, but I guess maybe because it's on the edge, it doesn't have the darkness all around. I don't know if this is a good example. I would expect to see dark going all around here in a regular object. And this is something that you can test on your own. That's the good thing about it. Let's go ahead and continue and look through the pictures that they've given us. Now, I don't know how this is supposed to be. I'm sure they have some scientific explanation or scientific double talk for you, where they're going to say, obviously, Grace, you're just dumb. You just don't understand. Obviously, it's reflecting off of this planet, and it's but this is not going to be a natural reflection of light. However they may spin it. The light would go and it would reflect out. I don't know how to explain this. I don't know what their explanation is of this. So I just can't comment on it. But if it was a ball, even if it was a ball, it would not reflect like this. First of all, it would be going around like that. But I don't know what their explanation is for it. Again, they don't try to hide that it's not, and they don't. They just tell you it's a ball. They tell you it's a ball, but they don't try to hide that it's not. There are no dark corners on this. None. It's just all lit up. One solid form of light with no decreasing, nothing to show that something is further away or closer, a closer reflection of the light. Nothing. Same thing here. This is another one of the things that will require you to do a little bit further research in regards to science, because light doesn't reflect like this. This is obvious. There's obviously something in front of this. The moon is all this color, white, and then you have the black moon that's in front of it. Okay, but still, nothing around the corners. No shadow whatsoever to imply that it is a circle, to imply that it is a globe or anything like that. It's a disc. Again, it's a disc. It's a disc. They really don't hide it. They just brainwash you into believing it. No shadow whatsoever. Nothing. All of the light hits it at one angle. It would be going out like this, not inward, but however they say it, it would not look like this if it was a ball. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I think that it's pretty clear once you know what you're looking at. What you can do, the best thing to do is to take a ball or a round object, go outside in the sun, and watch how the sun reflects off of a round object. It warps the shadow when it's near a round object, and you will never see that if you were to go out and look at a full moon when it's near the sun. You will never see that. This is exactly the opposite of what it should be. Science, I can't go into science and figure out how they work this out. That this is somehow going to be a ball with the sun casting a shadow where the shadow goes in instead of out. It's illogical. It's not real. But even if it was real, there's no shadow going around this object at all. None. Is just not a ball. It is a disc. Again, no shadows. As a matter of fact, it's lighter around the edges here. Here, this has more light around the edges. Now they could say that it's the sun that's shining here because it has a little bit more light around the edges, because you can see the object is casting a little bit of a shadow on it. So they could say that. But then it would have to go in like a I am getting confused just trying to convince my mind to, yeah. I've changed my mind about this too. This sun has moved. It would not be here. It would not be in this position. Of course, you guys don't know what I'm talking about because it was something that I stated in the previous video. You'll want to watch the video on the moon disk in order to understand this video properly, all of the corrections that I'm making. I originally questioned the timing that they gave us as far as the moon and the sun, and I'm back there again. I'm back where I began. I don't know if this is a real picture, but if it is, then the timing that they gave us has to be off, because the sun moves. The sun moves before the eclipse is finished. This one doesn't apply to us because this is an eclipse. This is the moon. Again, they have the shadow, they have the sun hitting the object, no shadow at all. Just one shadow here. No shadow at all. Not the shadow that you would see as far as a ball is concerned. No. It's just a made up picture is what it is. It's just made up. Yeah. I think this is a real picture, especially when you look at the lights. No shadow. Well, this is super bright. Well, but I mean, for us, it can be super bright and we can say no shadow. For them, it's only going to be a reflection of the light of the sun. So super bright or not, there should be some distinction as to, there should be some distinction in regards to shadows. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I think I said enough and I've given plenty of examples And I yeah, I guess I'm just gonna stop there. I think that's enough. And I will see you in the next video.